Welcome everyone, and thank you for taking the time to review this material today. My name is Mario Catanzaro, and I'm a member of the Audience Solutions Group at Zenith New York, or ASG. I'm sure most of you have heard the name ASG, but for those of you who don't know what we do, we are the team that handles most of the programmatic campaign elements running across all of Zenith, Opti, Moxie, and Performix. And additionally, the agency-level direct descendant of our former Viviki trading desk, Audience on Demand. I'm sure you're all very much aware of the overwhelming amount of attention the subject of programmatic buying has received in the past 18 months or so. And it is of the utmost importance as an agency that we are fluent in the language, well-versed in the concepts, and familiar enough with the tools to engage in discussions about programmatic with our clients, our vendors, and of course, our fellow teammates. Programmatic buying is of course not a new thing, but the sudden explosive embrace that we are seeing industry-wide right now can probably be attributed to two key factors: education and scale. These of course go hand in hand. As the education increases on the client and agency side, the scale will follow. As is the case with many of the cutting-edge trends our industry has seen, movements like this are often embraced at first by smaller agencies and independents that are willing to take risks on new methods and technologies in order to drive efficiencies. In the case of programmatic buying, as these efficiencies were proven, the education and scale I previously mentioned followed suit, leading us to where we are now. At present, more than 90% of marketers and agencies are currently using real-time bidding, and not only plan to continue, but to increase spend in this area, citing improved performance and increased audience addressability as key benefits. Programmatic buying was originally projected to account for 28% of total display spending by 2016. By end of year 2014, 45% of total display ad spending took place programmatically. Projections for digital display adjusted to 63% by end of year 2018. Based on our internal assessment, we estimate that 15% of the inventory we procure at Zenith is bought through programmatic means, and through informed ad tech, we will quickly move that needle to 50% in the next 5 years. As useful and informative as these stats are to all of us, the real story their numbers tell is one of the need for awareness and education. Make no mistake about it, the direction that informed ad tech has taken digital has already begun to shift into the other channels, changing the way their media is sold, bought, and measured. Just to give you all an idea of where we currently are with programmatic development in other channels, you can see in the yellow boxes at the top of this slide that television, out-of-home, print, audio, and cinema all currently leverage automated means in both the RFP and negotiation transaction process. As far as delivery goes, although television is still analog and cinema is light years away, out-of-home, print, and audio are all slowly becoming digitized, making transacting programmatically a very visible reality. The inevitable convergence of other channels with digital has opened up opportunities for technology development in digital out-of-home, programmatic print, radio, and television. Within our local group at Zenith, we are actively evaluating programmatic radio platforms such as Jelly and Triton. The goal would be to test these platforms' capabilities and eventually move towards a self-service model, taking them in-house. In order to begin to understand programmatic, it is important to remember the three key pillars on which all programmatic concepts and tools are based: data, inventory, and technology, without any of which a true programmatic offering could not take place. It is upon these key concepts that the very definition of programmatic is based, a method of buying digital media that leverages data-driven technology to automate the purchase of digital inventory and successfully reach a high-potential customer. Some of the benefits that can be reaped from leveraging programmatic tools and strategies include increased efficiencies with user targeting and competition minimization, better understanding of customer attribution, data ownership of cumulative insights, increased transparency into inventory sources, other bidders, and audiences, all while maintaining scale. Before you can begin to build a true understanding of programmatic, you must have a working understanding of publisher and web page basics. As the other channels slowly become digitized and move into the programmatic space, it is on digital concepts that they will be transacted and measured. HTML is the standard development language in which most web pages are written. HTML usually controls the color of the pages, the font types, and font sizes. Web browsers read HTML files and render them into visible web pages. Upon these pages, within separated areas, there are always user-driven interactive properties. These can include banner ads, selection boxes, or sign-up forms. These user-driven functional areas are written in the programming language of JavaScript. Web publisher inventory is counted in renderings or viewings of advertiser ads, called impressions. An impression is an ad rendering that is seen and is countable. Clicking or not is taken into account. Each time an ad displays, it is counted as one impression. Likewise for the counting of clicks. CPM, CPC, and CPA are pricing models for buying digital media. While they are not the only pricing models, they are the most common. CPM refers to cost per thousand impressions. CPC, or cost per click, a pricing model where the advertiser pays the pubs based on users clicking. And CPA, or cost per action, where a predefined custom action is used as the pricing model, such as registration or newsletter sign-ups. All sorts of things are being tracked on web pages at all times. From the page info to all user interactions, all of the specifics of page loads, ad delivery, and content are all being recorded. When a page loads, special lines of text embedded in the code designed for tracking page elements activate and send the info back to their respective operators. These tracking codes are called tags and are often written in JavaScript. As tags are the most widely used and universal form of tracking, they are crucial for ad delivery and publisher inventory management. Inventory management is without question one of the prime movers of programmatic development. Although many of you may not be familiar with all of the elements and categorizations of digital publisher inventory, you can see in this typical publisher inventory waterfall that as inventory availability drops, cost of course rises. Direct sales, sponsorships, and what we call programmatic direct make up the most costly inventory, reserved premium at a fixed high CPM. And as availability of inventory increases, costs drop from preferred inventory down to the open exchange inventory of unreserved remnant. When discussing programmatic development, remnant inventory is always mentioned. Remnant inventory is ad space on a site that a publisher has been unable to sell. In order to sell this inventory, publishers often make it available at a reduced cost within groupings of pubs known as ad networks, or biddable auction-based inventory marketplaces known as ad exchanges. There are many misconceptions about remnant inventory, most important that it is always lower-tier inventory. This is truly not the case, as pubs often face the same challenges to selling preferred inventory, and it can become remnant. Although remnant inventory has certainly been a key factor in programmatic development, we certainly could not have gotten where we are today without ever-evolving ad tech as our guide. Although the biggest milestones in programmatic have happened in the last 10 or 12 years, such as the rise of ad networks, the development of SSPs, DSPs, and ad exchanges, the true roots of programmatic technology were the first native search platforms of the 90s, developed by companies like AOL, Yahoo, and of course, Google. By the early 2000s, the challenges of inventory management had begun to take hold. Publishers seeking to monetize on their remnant inventory flocked to ad networks, companies that consolidated publisher inventories and matched them with advertiser demand. By grouping together under the umbrella of ad networks, pubs were able to benefit by exposure to an expanded pool of advertisers, where advertisers were likewise able to benefit by exposure to new inventory sources. As advanced data began to fuel the audience segments networks were able to offer, they began to offer premium packages of placements coupled with audience insights. Some of the biggest ad networks are listed at the bottom of this slide. As ad networks grew in size and function, further developing tools allowed for additional inventory consolidation, where the networks all engaged in a new type of marketplace known as an ad exchange. Ad exchanges facilitate the buying and selling of impressions in a biddable, auction-based environment. There are two categorizations within ad exchanges. There's the open exchange, in which multiple publishers offer inventory that any advertiser on the exchange can bid on, and there's the private exchange, invitation-only marketplaces where publishers offer preferred access to inventory not available on the open exchange. The biggest ad exchanges are listed below. They include the DoubleClick Exchange, the Microsoft Exchange, the Facebook Exchange, and former Right Media, the Yahoo Exchange. The development of the exchanges went hand in hand with the tools needed to access them on both sides of the publisher-advertiser relationship. Supply-side platforms, or SSPs, are utilized by the publishers for inventory management, categorization, and sale by connecting to the exchanges. Demand-side platforms, or DSPs, are utilized on the advertiser or agency side, engaging with the exchanges to seek out the impressions needed and engage in the bidding activity. Enhanced capabilities on both sides of these platforms allow for the layering of data to yield the most qualified audience. Some of the biggest SSPs and DSPs we work with are listed below. In order to meet the challenges of engaging in this new marketplace while still offering the expertise and consultative services that are expected of them, large agencies built out in-house teams to manage programmatic buying. As part of the Publicis agency family, the in-house trade desk that Zenith, Opti, Moxie, and Performix groups had at their disposal was the Viviki build-out Audience on Demand. In response to the recent explosion of adoption of programmatic buying, an ever-increasing scale, the decision was made to integrate the AOD team directly into the agency family. This allows for free exchange of learnings, ideas, and experience. The ASG team are programmatic activation experts and solutions consultants, specializing in the tools and strategies to ensure our advertisers' maximum results. The Audience Solutions Group leverages demand-side platform technologies such as Google, MediaMath, and Turn to connect directly to the ad exchanges, seek out the most qualified impressions for their advertiser strategy, and engage in the bidding process. Real-time bidding, or RTB, is the technology protocol which allows the buying and selling of impressions on the exchanges. The process of RTB can be simplified like this. 1. User visits a web page. 2. Impression is put up for auction on the exchanges. 3. Bids are submitted based on an impression value estimate. 4. Highest bid wins the auction, pays 1 cent higher than the second highest bid. 5. Advertiser impression is delivered, all in less than 50 milliseconds. The best way to understand the process of RTB is to look back on your own experience as a user. Think about the times that you have searched for items on sites such as Zappos or Amazon and almost immediately been retargeted with those same products on other websites. Real-time bidding is not the only way for advertisers to buy from the exchanges. Private marketplace deals, or PMPs, can be arranged to allow select advertisers to bid on premium reserved inventory. PMPs offer advertisers an opportunity to buy programmatically while maintaining the visibility and control needed to ensure their confidence. As the advantages of deals of this type are pretty self-explanatory, it is our goal as an organization to get as many of our clients to engage in PMP deals. As I've mentioned throughout this presentation, programmatic buying always involves a data component, allowing advertisers and agencies to make more informed buying decisions and engage a more qualified audience. By that, what I mean is an audience whose online activity indicates them as being more likely to convert. Advertisers and agencies can leverage audience data available within the DSPs to target high-indexing users based on demographic, behavioral, attitudinal, or psychographic characteristics. Measurement is key to successfully managing programmatic campaigns. Ad-serving technologies such as DSPs always offer a full reporting suite for advertisers to view performance in. One of the most revolutionary aspects of programmatic tools are that over time they can accrue learnings and apply them to optimization strategies and increase performance. In this way, they are essentially learning. Through tools like these, we can visualize performance, analyze trends, and shift dollars to be more effective. Thank you all for attending Part 1 of Module 1, Introduction to Programmatic Basics. We will continue next week with Part 2, Introduction to Programmatic Tools. A glossary of terms has been included with entries for all of the key terminology referenced.